What is up, YouTube? It's your boy Alex here from Team Generations, and today we're here to discuss a crazy deck profile. We are going to be talking about Negrobolt. If you've been hanging around the channel now for a while, you know that I have been talking about this deck since I posted my wackiest deck profile and whatnot. In my past couple deck profiles, I kind of mentioned it, but this is insane. I really cannot believe a deck like this really exists. This is kind of like a Hamiel replacement in a way. If you enjoyed that high roll kind of solitaire playstyle, it is basically PG or GG. This is an absolutely nuts deck, basically stacking crits on your Vanguard, on some of your rear guards as well. It just basically says like, hey, do you have PGs in hand? If not, you are going to die. So very excited to get into this deck profile. Let's check it out. I'm going to break this out in a little bit of a different style than I typically do. I'm going to just kind of showcase the deck right in front of you and kind of explain some interactions throughout. So yeah, let's get started. And before we get started, I just wanted to quickly mention that if you are interested in purchasing any of the cards that you see here today, we do have a TCG Player affiliate link down in the description below. You can shop through that to help the channel. Absolutely no cost to you. It really helps us out. Thank you so much in advance. And if you are new to the channel, maybe consider hitting that subscribe button, possibly leaving a like on the video. Definitely appreciate it. Thank you in advance, finally over that 1K mark. Thank you guys all so much. Really appreciate it. And then lastly, too, we do have a Twitter, so go follow that Twitter if you want to see our locals, any of our deck profiles that we are posting, things like that, all the news for the team. So yeah, thank you in advance. All right, hopping right into the deck profile now. I feel like just set the tone of this deck profile, I do need to kind of show you the triggers first, and we are running a very interesting trigger lineup over here. 4 of the Rough Seas Banshee, 4 of the Mortal Mimic, 4 of the Night Spirit, and yep, you guessed it, 4 of Rampage Shade. So we are actually going 16 crit. There is no heals in this deck, no draws, no fronts, obviously in V at least for Granblue, but over here, like, this is just, we want to close out the game. We want to do it as quickly as possible. Crits help us get there. Crits are what we are running in this deck. This is an OTK deck. We want 16 crit. Close out the game as quickly as you can, and this actually becomes a little bit more resilient later on because we do get a shield buff through our Vanguard. So, you know, a 15k shield could turn into a 30k shield, so on and so forth. 30k turns to 50. It's just, it bulks out a lot more than you think. So just setting the tone, I feel like, obviously one Guiding Zombie as well, just talking about the grade zeros for our starter. But talking about the deck profile, I just really wanted to start off with that just to show you how kind of all in this deck is, how kind of just quickly you can close things out with this insane skill of Negrobolt. So getting into the boss unit, this is Witch Doctor of the Dead Sea, Negrobolt. So this guy's skill, auto on Vanguard Circle at the beginning of our ride phase or main phase, bind all the non-trigger cards in our drop zone, and this effect is mandatory. This is important for the rest of the subtext on this card over here, but again, if you're on this card, you wrote it, boom, next turn comes around, you still have to bind them on the ride phase, you know, place it down, ride it, boom, you still have to bind it in the main phase, whatever the case is. And we do have ways to revive or kind of like get things back from the bind zone in this deck, which I will go over a little bit later. But its second subtext over here, auto on Vanguard Circle, when this unit attacks, for every 10 cards in our drop until the end of turn, this guy gets an additional crit, and then all of your front row units get an additional 20k. That is huge. And then lastly, like I said, the bulk out is continuous on Vanguard Circle. All your units get an additional 5k for every 10 cards in your drop. So it's really not hard to get an extra 15k on some of the guarding things, but again, we want to close out as quickly as possible, and boom, just that middle text is absolutely insane. So if you have 30 cards in drop, which is really not too hard to do with Skeleton Sea Navigator and what was it, Negrobolt or something, like those 2 cards kind of allow you to get at that kind of 30k, and everything in this deck just kind of spams out and like really helps you reach a very high threshold, so you can have your front row being beefed out, you know, 60k, you know, Vanguard swinging for 4 crits, whatever the case is. Like, this card is insane. This card really allows us, with all the toolbox that Granblue has, to really hit like absolutely bizarre numbers. Like, this is the Hamiel of Granblue. Like I said, you know, you're coming at them with 4 crit, you know, PG or GG kind of deal. Stacked columns, huge all around, and these cards over here, which I'm about to go over, help us do that. So this is going to be 2 of the Seabed Demon Scaredick. So Scaredick is actually really interesting. This guy's skill, I think this came out with wackiest way back in My Glorious Justice. It was really cool at the time. I think I was running 1 back then. Act on Van, our rearguard circle. Once returned, if your drop zone has 30 or more cards, we can discard all the cards in our hand, and then this guy gets an additional 30k plus a crit until the end of turn. So you have columns now that are not only buffed up by, you know, potentially 60k from your Vanguard, 30k from itself is 90k plus a 12k base. What is that right there? That's 102. I mean, those are insane numbers. Those are not normal Vanguard numbers. Like, those are really high. Those are almost impossible. Again, more of that PG or GG kind of mentality. And I think that this really helps us kind of reach just that kill turn. Like, in 1 turn, boom, all of my rear guards have crits. My Vanguard has an insane amount of crits. It just rips cards from your hand. You know, they have to kind of heal in order to survive in a way. So really brings like this OTK strategy to life. I know I just did a Polaris kind of OTK deck as well, so you can go check that out if you like that kind of play style. But I will say this is not a beginner deck. Don't play this if you're just hopping into the game. Polaris is a little bit easier to play if you're looking for an OTK kind of style. This is actually you know, decently difficult, I think. I just combined those words accidentally, but I think that this deck definitely takes a little practice, and I've played about 30 games on this deck. The win rate is actually a lot higher than you think, and towards the end of my games, I definitely, like, when I got into the rhythm of it, I definitely ended up winning a lot more, so definitely need some practice. But next up over here, this is Dragon Undead Skull Dragon. So Skull Dragon's been around forever. Granblue staple, everyone knows it. Hand, this card cannot be called. On Van or Rearguard Circle during your turn, this guy gets an additional 2k for each card in your drop zone, making an absolutely stacked column. So if you're not able to hit that 30k threshold, don't want to ditch your entire hand, you can just go into Skull Dragon instead. Still absolutely huge numbers. And it could be that, you know, they let your Vanguard slip through 3 crit or whatever, and then they just have to guard 2 other attacks. And maybe they have 1 PG, but another guy, you know, 2 of these guys swinging at you for over 100k. Like, that's crazy. That is absolutely insane. So at the end of the battle, you do have to retire it, but that's no big deal at all. And I think that with this, these are the main cards that you want to swing with. Vanguard, Rearguard, like these guys, like this is such a crazy broken board, and I just didn't want to take them out of my other decks because I have them in both Night Rose and in Ghosties, so I will be flashing this on screen, but this is going to be Beatrice. So I tried the deck without Beatrice, I really did. Wanted to make this as budget as possible, but unfortunately I feel like she just has to be in the deck. She is really good. One place, you Soul Blast 1, call another card out from the drop. That is the main reason you use it. It does give you an alternate Vanguard ride too if you really want to go into that. Sometimes it comes in handy. I've probably used it like once one game, but overall, like, Granblue has such a unique way of getting tools out of its piggy bank and onto the field, so you should be riding, you know, Negrobolt 95% of the time. But Beatrice is really decent overall. Still helps us kind of get things out of our soul into the drop, potentially things that you wanted to ride but maybe use, or had to ride but maybe wanted to use. You can just Soul Blast it out, boom, pop that down, get them out onto the field and actually use them. So again, the toolbox is insane. The deck itself is just such a huge piggy bank. Like, that's what Granblue is to me, 100%. Next up over here, we are going to go into the grade 2s. That is it for the grade 3s. I'm actually running 4 of Column Bar. Now, I know the whole idea in Premium, oh, run just 2 Column Bar. I get that. That's Premium, though. In V, I think that you still need to be, this is like our main, this really is our combo starter. This is really the guy that grabs us the card that we need, or helps us grab the card that we need to ride into our correct grade 3 Vanguard. So as such, this is my grade 2 ride target 9 out of 10 times. Like, I want to be on this guy. So I'm running it at 4 of Pirate Sword. Column Bard is auto when this unit is placed on Van or rear. Counterblast 1, search your deck for up to 1 card, discard it, and shuffle your deck. Then call up to 1 card from your rearguard, from your drop zone to Rearguard Circle, and this ability may only be used with the same card name once per turn. So it is hard lock once per turn, but at the same time too, that utility is just absolutely insane. One of the best cards in this clan. One of the best cards in the game, honestly. If other clans had this, I think, you know, this would almost be a foreign lock of on tons of other decks. So very, very good card. And then pairing that up with this guy over here is just such a classic tried and true Granblue combo. This is going to be Greed Shade, so Greed Shade skill. Van or Rearguard Circle continues during your turn. If your drop zone is 10 or more cards, this gets an additional 5k, not really necessary, but its second skill is what we're really playing it for. Auto on Rearguard Circle. When placed, discard a card from our hand, put 2 cards from our top of our deck into our drop zone, return a card not named Greed Shade from our drop to our hand. So you can really just place whatever card you want, you know, your Negrobolt into the drop zone with this, pop this down, go and get that Negrobolt from drop to your hand. Kind of fixes your ride chain, does so much for us. Like, honestly, this kind of gets, this can help us like start the combo chain later on with other cards as well. Kind of just helps us mill out, hit that 30 a little bit easier. Discarding from hand is heavy, and you'll see that towards the end of the game when you have to pop off your grade 1, what was it, the Negrobones. Like, discarding from hand doesn't always work with him, so that's why we're at 3 of instead of a 4 of. Very good card, but again, very costly in a way. Next up over here too, we are still running 3 of these cards. This is actually support directly for Negrobone. This is going to be Dragon Undead Ghoul Dragon, actually. So its skill, act in the bind zone, counterblast 1, retire 1 of your rear guards, choose up to 6 other normal units from your bind zone, return them to your deck, and shuffle it. If you return 4 or more, call this to rear guard. Awesome card. That is awesome text. We definitely need that. This actually allows us to survive more than 1 turn if we really need to. And second skill, auto on rear guard. When this unit attacks the Vanguard, Soul Blast 1, retire 1 other rear guards, choose an opponent's rear guard, and retire it. Not really important. We don't want to swing with this guy in reality. It's really that first text over here that we are playing it for. So when you're later into the game, you know, you have 2 of these in your drop, you have a bunch of, not a lot of things use Counterblast. This is the only thing in the deck that use Counterblast, the Column Bard. So you'll basically pop down the Ghoul Dragon, bind it away, you know, if you've already been on it, you know, maybe you milled it out earlier into the game, pop that, boom, Soul Blast 1, get all your key units that you need back into the deck so you can mill them out, kind of get them out with that Negrobolt. I keep on saying Negrobolt, it's Negrobone. And then this guy also comes out to field, and it will fuel your Skeleton Sea Navigator. So very necessary card, I think, overall. Like, this is just what the deck needed. At 3 of, I think it's perfect. I see it just often enough. You don't really want to ride it. You don't really want to go into it. It's not really useful on the field. You just want to bind it away and then get everything from the bind zone back into your deck, because that allows us to play. If you didn't OTK them that turn, it allows us to play that second turn and still kind of keep that fuel rolling. So very, very good card overall. And then we start to get a little bit techie over here. So I'm going to play just one of these. This is Jesse the Ghosty. Its first skill, act in drop zone. Retire 2 rear guards not named him, and then call this card to rear guard circle. May only be used once per turn with the same card name. So once per turn, hard lock there, but really good to get 2 cards in the drop. And we want cards in our drop because things kind of respawn back out, and I'll show you why. One of this guy over here too, because we do have a lot of cards that do retire cards on our field, and she actually nets us another draw, and another draw is really like another Negrobone kind of fuel later on into the game. But when placed by our card's ability, this guy gets 10k until the end of turn, so it can be a little beat stick too if you need to go into it. I have done that before. Auto, when it's retired from rear guard circle by our card's ability, we draw a card, and this may only be used, again, we'll card with the same name once per turn. Over here too, very, very slept on card, Witch Doctor of Langor, Negro Lazy. This guy basically, when placed down, you may call a grade 0 from your drop zone to rear guard circle, and it's not hard locked once per turn. So if you can somehow get him to the drop and then call him back out over and over, you can spam. You basically have, he's like a 1-card package for a Skeleton Sea Navigator mill, which is really honestly like super, super useful. Being completely honest, it's actually such a good card in this deck. Over here too, I'm still running 2 of Samurai Spirits. We're getting into the grade 1s now. These cards are really underrated in general, and again, everything here kind of goes for that Skeleton Sea Navigator package, reviving itself, getting stuff on field, getting stuff in your hand, whatever it is. It's really fuel for Skeleton Sea Navigator. Samurai Spirit also kind of helps with this too, because in drop zone we get the Soul Blast 1, retire one of our other rear guards, except for the same card name as this guy, call it to rear guard circle, and gets 4k until the end of turn. So you know, if you rode one of your Negrobones, you can pop him out with that Soul Blast, retire something, get him out. It's just another body on board. It's really, really good. This is such a necessary card. I know I've been kind of mentioning it the whole time, but this guy over here too, this is going to be Skeleton Sea Navigator, so we need this at 4 of. Like, there is no question about this. You absolutely need to see at least one of these during the game. Act on rear guard circle, rest 2 of your rear guards, cost discard 5 cards from the top of your deck. So basically just milling, getting that 30 is really, really easy. Everything in this deck is designed to kind of just filter back on field, come out, revive, you know, boom, just keep on resting, milling with this card. And these guys over here, lastly, are the guys that we need to kind of get our big beaters out at the end and truly set up our board. So this is Witch Doctor of Powdered Bone, Negrobone. Act in drop zone, discard a card from our hand, put this card on the bottom of our deck, call a grade 1 from our drop zone to rear guard circle, and if our drop has 10 or more cards, we may call any grade instead. So again, we're all about just buffing up our field, making sure that, buffing up our drop zone, making sure that we're hitting ridiculously high numbers for the Negrobolt. This guy helps us just get out the choice cards that we want to actually slam into our opponent with. These 2 cards need to be at a 4 of 100%, but everything else in the deck, there are ratios you can play with. I've tried so many different iterations of this deck. I'm kind of happy where I've settled right now, and I'll go through a test hand, show you guys how consistent the deck really is and how easy it is to hit that. But let me know down in the comments below if you have any questions, suggestions, things that you've been running in this deck. This is kind of like a really weird, out there, very rogue strategy, but I believe that it is actually competitive. You can play this deck, and yeah, so yeah, let's hop into the test hand and let's get started. Alright, and just in case you are skipping ahead to this section of the video, just want to remind you guys that if you are interested in subscribing to the channel, it definitely helps us out a whole lot, lets us know the content based on like the subs. Obviously I kind of, and likes, I just kind of tailor my content towards that. I get a lot of love on the V stuff, so I do a lot of V content in general, but you know, trying to bring a little bit more premium to the channel. Maybe when the new clan selection comes out, or premium collection comes out, maybe I'll bring some more. Trying to think about some overdressed stuff too, but honestly there's so much V to get through that I think I kind of go towards that. But this is our hand over here, and I honestly, man, this is actually really, like, this is insane. This is pretty ideal. Let's go and put just 1 back. Let's see what else we can get. Draw with that. Okay, that's pretty good actually. So I'm going to keep everything in our hand. Kind of makes it interesting for what I want to put in my drop later on. So let's think about this. Yeah, let's go through it. Very, very good deck. Decently competitive overall. I think that once you get the hang of this deck, it becomes kind of easy to go through some of the motions with it and really perform well. So let's stand and draw over here for our turn. Let's go and ride. Going to draw over here. Nice. Wow. Okay, we're going to pass it over to our opponent, and we are going to take a damage. And unfortunately, it is Skeleton Sea Navigator, but we really want to kind of not mill out a whole lot earlier on into the game. And I think that kind of just playing a very basic early game is pretty key. They are going to pass it over to us now, so we're going to stand and draw for our turn. Now we are going to ride onto Columbard. Let's use Columbard skill. We're going to counterblast 1. Let's go and get... Let's put one of Mr. Navigator in there. I just want to set up for later on during our turn. We're not going to use him really, but I think that I just want him on field so I can get combos starting to go. So let's get that there. Let's put him here. Let's say I'm just going to move everything over. Here we are. All right, and then we are going to, do I want to do this? Not really, actually. I could do it. Could. Let's see. Nah, let's actually just hold. So we're going to just swing at our opponent now. Boom. Okay. We got, oh man. Oh, that's, sorry. That was a drive check, not a thing. So we got Negrobolt in our hands. We're going to pass it over to our opponent, take 1 damage. All right, let's take 2 damage here. Boom. Okay. Unfortunate. We definitely don't want 2 of those. Bound away, because I think the first one, no, it's actually Navigator. All right, that's cool. But unfortunately, we did get, you know, it sucks when I've had it where I've gotten like 2 Scaredicks damaged out, and it really sucks. It makes your whole, you have to kind of wait a turn and kind of get them back for, or bound out or something. It, you kind of delay your whole process in the game, and it makes it a lot harder. But let's proceed on. So I just draw for turn over here? No, I don't think I did. Draw for turn, and we are going to ride into Negrobolt. I'm going to go protect 2, just for giggles over here. There we are. We're going to get that protect 2, and what else am I going to do? So let's start with the combo. Let's go into him, and let's go counterblast 1. Let's go put something into our drop zone that we want on rearguard circle. Let's go get, you know what? Let's go get, where is she? I don't have anything else in my drop really right now. So what do I want? You know what? Let's get Jesse. Let's call this out actually. You know what? No, let's get Jesse. Let's get Jesse the Ghosty, because I think a little bit later on this is what I'm gonna do. So I'm gonna get Jesse the Ghosty in the drop. I'm gonna call a card from my drop to rearguard circle. That is fine. We are then gonna get that on rearguard. I'm gonna just rest these 2, mill out 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Awesome. We got our 2 targets we want in the drop zone over there. I do want a Negrobolt in our drop though to get them out. Let me see if I can put my deck over here. Let's go and I don't know. Let's do 1. We're gonna get Jesse the Ghosty here, and we are then going to go 2 with this guy. I am going to put my Columbard in the drop. I am then going to skill. I'm going to discard the Negrobolt. I am going to mill 2 cards and put 1 card into my hand. What do I want to put into my hand here? Let's go. You know what? Let's go with the Scaredick in our hand. That's fine. That works for me. We are then going to rest these 2. 1, 2. We're going to mill out 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Okie doke. Didn't really get many of the other things in there, but we are going to use Jesse the Ghosty now. We are going to pop 1, 2. 1 and 2. And we're going to call a Jesse the Ghosty on out. We are next up. What are we going to do? We're going to get this guy down. We're going to get that into our drop. We are going to mill 1, 2. Add a card from our hand, or to our hand now. Let's go. Let's actually add her, I think. She might net us a draw later on, so let's do this. We are also going to mill 1 and 2. Let's go 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. I really wanted a Samurai Spirit in here. He would help us in this situation. I don't have one already in here, do I? Actually, I do. Alright, so that actually really works out pretty decently. So let us call over him. And then I'm going to, yeah, that was from hand. I'm going to Soul Blast 1. What did I ride over here? I definitely want one of these back into my drop. I'm going to Soul Blast 1, retire him. I'm going to call that Samurai Spirit out now. There we are. Actually, did I want to do that? I guess it's good for the 2 things. I have 2 in hand. Yeah, that's actually fine. So I'm going to go 1 and 2. That's fine. I'm going to mill 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so here we are. This is just really like milled the game. So let's count our thing first off. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29. So we need like 1 more. Let's see here. What do I want to do? So let's do this. I have 1, 2, 3. I have 3. All right, perfect. So that's all I kind of need. And I got 1 card in hand. Yeah, we can do this. All right, so I'm going to discard a card from my hand. Going to put this onto the bottom of my deck. I'm going to Soul Blast 1, call a card out from my drop, I'm going to call a card out from my drop, irregardless of grade. I'm going to get this guy on top of him. Okay. And then I'm going to also Soul Blast 1. I'm going to call another unit out from my drop zone. I'm going to call out... it doesn't really matter. These two really, honestly, don't matter too much at all. Let's just call this out here. Okay. And next up, we're going to go 1 and 2. We're going to mill 5. 1, 2, oops, 3, 4, and 5. And then we are going to, I could go even harder, but I'm running out of deck. So this is what I want to do. And now we're kind of coming to the end, and we got over that 30k threshold. So I want to do this. I'm going to Soul Blast 1. I'm going to call out my Samurai Spirit now. I'm going to retire 1 Rearguard. And I just Soul Blasted that out. I'm going to get the Samurai over here. I'm going to call it to Rearguard Circle. When I retire her from my card's ability, I draw a card, so another card in hand, which is good. And then we are going to manually call a Scaredick down over here. Actually, it doesn't matter. Here, and then we are going to pitch a card. And we are going to do that back to the bottom of our deck. I could get my second Scaredick. Yeah, I can go Scaredick, Skull Dragon, doesn't really matter. I don't know, so this is act both of them, 30 or more, discard all the cards in our hand. I guess, like, it doesn't say you have to discard a certain amount. I'm not actually sure the ruling on that, so if you know, definitely let me know, but boom, I just discard all the cards in my hand. Nothing's really too crazy there, plus 3 on that. Let's count how many I have in our drop now. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36. So almost, almost at that next one. Let's see, actually. Hold on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So if I do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, no, I would deck out if I did it one more time. But boom, 60k on top of that, 30k. It's 90. These are both 102k plus the 10k from this right here. Or actually 5k. 107 plus the 7, it's 114 to crit. This is going to be 60 plus 12. This is 72k for crit Vanguard. 1 and 2. All right, we do get another crit again. You can put that on whichever one you want. Really doesn't matter. But we are swinging for ridiculous numbers, and that, ladies and gentlemen, is the OTK. That is kind of how you do it. Again, PG or GG at that point. And if you hit crits early on too, it makes it really hard in this deck. A little bit of high roll, but as you can see, like, it's really not too difficult. We didn't play anything crazy. I did have a really good hand starting off, I'm not gonna lie, but at the same time, like, I've played through jank hands, I've played through other hands. Like, this is Granblue. You make your own luck in this deck. I think this deck really honestly works, and again, this is not locked once per turn. Other cards in this deck just kind of make the magic happen, and these are huge numbers, and I'm not sure if I can use the Scaredick twice or whatever, discard all the cards in my hand, but at the same time, it doesn't say like the numbers, so I'm not 100% sure. You could just go sub like a Skull Dragon if that's the ruling on it. But thank you guys so much for watching. This is Alex from Team Generations. Let me know if you have any comments in the questions in the comments below. This is Alex from Team Generations signing